I think the expectations were high. The beat was nice, but, even though the revenue was a bit better, most of the beat was driven by expenses, which were pushed into the second quarter. And like you said, the gross margin was a bit light. So I think it was just a bit underwhelming given the run in the stock.
So much of the news, the media surrounding Nike has been that ad campaign with Colin Kaepernick. Was that the reason for the stock's run up? And was there any reason for that with the pullback last night? Or is there something else that's happening at Nike?
Yeah, I think a lot of it, the run up happened after the ad campaign was announced. And, there had been a lot of press around increased sales at Nike, digital growing over 30%. And so, I think the thought process was that the ad campaign ended up being a positive for Nike, which, it clearly was. They had digital sales this past quarter up 34%. So I think a lot of that run was surrounding the positiveness around the ad campaign. And now I think people are taking a step back and saying, we'll wait and see. It's only been a few weeks. We'll wait and see how positive it is for sales over the long term.
You did notice some things that concerned you, including the amount of clearance inventory that's been going up over the last several weeks. What's happening there?
Yeah, so that's really within the athletic space. Nike actually is pretty clean out there. So,
okay.
And that showed up in their inventory. It's really their competitors, such as an Under Armour, even, we're starting to see a little bit more Adidas on sale out there. Within the mass channel, a lot is where it's really competitive. And I think where Nike is doing well is within their own stores or within their differentiated, more higher end retailers, such as a Foot Locker. So, I think Nike itself is very clean, but the athletic industry itself, because of the glut of inventory from an Under Armour, is still kind of heavy out there.
So why is Nike in better shape?
They just really cleaned up faster. They jumped on the innovation bandwagon. They rolled out 4 new platforms within their footwear categories over the past couple of years. Those platforms alone are the ones that are doing very well, selling at full price, and they've generated over $2 billion in sales since the launch. Also, Nike's sportswear is doing a lot better. Nike's doing well in women's, which I think they could be taking some share back from Under Armour. Under Armour just hasn't differentiated. Everything looks virtually the same as it did last year. And so I think that's what's really hurting them.
You've said a lot of nice things about Nike, but your rating is a neutral. Why?
It's really valuations. It's trading at 27 times. Next year's numbers, well above its historical high teens to low 20s now. So it's really based on valuation. Clearly it's very positive that they got North America's sales back on track. They grew 6% this quarter after a positive 3% last quarter. But then also I think there's some hesitation around international. So we did see a little bit of a slowdown, particularly in China. Still very, very good growth, up 20% on a constant currency basis. But, I think there could be some concern that could continue to slow.
Is that trade war related?
Well, it's been growing double digits for several quarters now. So a lot of it is just, the law of large numbers on top of very tough compares. Hard to say how much could be tied to the trade war, maybe a little bit, but I think it's more just that they've had accelerated growth.
Just wonder, we were looking for any signs of anti-American sentiment building up there, because we've heard about nationalism running strong there too.
Yeah, correct. Most of the retailers that I cover that sell over there say they haven't really seen anything like that. And so that's why I tend to think it's a little bit more related to the fact that they have been growing at accelerated rates for so long over there. And I think there had been talk in general that, the economy maybe had been slowing a bit, which could be impacting them.